is also known as these four names. Okay, direct method can also be called natural method, can also be called phonetical method, can also be called anti-grammatical method. Previous one, grammatical method, that is anti, because that was the reaction against grammar translation method, and also the reaction against grammar. For this reason it is called anti-grammatical method, and also it is called a reform method. Reform method witnessed towards the second half of 20th century. Many researchers, they claimed and they criticized GTM. They said that GTM, grammar translation method, no more can fulfill our expectation, so we want to reform. And then they reformed grammatical method, grammar translation method, and they got a new method. Its name is direct method, and for this reason it is called a reform method as well. Okay, so this is the name, and these are the expression. Okay, direct method, that means students or learners are very happy, they can interact with each other following some principles, and also, wow, come and try, me reader, I am not afraid to talk anymore. That means previously in case of grammar translation method there was a lack of communication or oral proficiency. In direct method that was emphasized, and for this reason students said, yes, now I can talk much more in my needed time, okay, and the requirement. So wow, speak English is very good. So direct method is named direct because meaning should be connected directly with the target language without translation. That means translation, cross, no translation, no mother language. Direct what? Direct towards the target language. Direct hit, just like the cricket ball. Target language without translating into the native language, concept, meaning, and target language, and no L1. No L1. That means in no way students are allowed to use their mother language in class, in communication, in chatting, in gossiping, in writing, everywhere. Okay? So that is, for this reason it is called direct method. And there is some origin. Okay? The direct method, also called natural method, established in Germany, again Germany and France, and it appeared as an answer to the shortcomings of grammar translation method that we have now. That means grammar translation method had the shortcomings, especially the oral communication and the listening comprehension, and for this reason it is a reaction. Direct method is a reaction against grammar translation method, and it is a method for teaching for a language that uses the target language, discarding any use of mother tongue in the class. So many words and so many sentences you will be using in the classroom, you will be learn many more. From that concept, that method was initiated in Germany and France, and from that time on direct method started its journey. But we don't know, we know, we will learn that this method will also have some benefit and also have some challenges, some disadvantages. Okay, absolute method and absolute approach. One question, that means one method or cannot absolutely make every learner happy. So in this regard, direct method will have some advantages and also will have some disadvantages as well. Okay, and he is the pioneer of direct method. His name is Francois Gouin, a French linguist who was a pioneer of what is now known as language acquisition studies and who pushed the language teaching reform. And next time, Stephen D. Krashen cite him as a case study of the language acquisition. So he initiated that oral method. In the first half of the 19th century, French French linguist Francois Gouin attempted to build language learning methodology observing the child language learning. The way children learn the language, Francois Gouin observed. At the time of studying history of English language teaching, we have mentioned this person, Francois Gouin. Francois Gouin observed the child language learning process, and observing that we can apply such kind of technique in case of our adult second language or foreign language learning, and he initiated. And towards the end of the 19th century, other reformers like Gouin turned their attention to naturalistic principles of language learning. It has another name, natural method. Naturally, no pressure, no, naturally, the natural way you will be talking, and one day in a fine good morning you will start speaking language, the target language. That was the concept of direct method, and that was also initiated, that was also believed by Francois Gouin and other researchers, and they wanted to reform grammatical method, and they got and picked this one, the initial one, that is direct method. And that is why most of them refer to advocate natural method of language learning and teaching. Another one, Montaigne. Message. He is known as Michel de Montaigne. He is known as the popularizing the essay as a literary genre. His work is noted for its merging of casual anecdotes and autobiography with intellectual insight. He also had a direct influence of numerous Western writers. His massive volume essay contains some of the most influential essays. So he also helped to initiate this method. And in fact, throughout the history of language teaching and learning, various attempts have been made and make language learning more effective and easy and interesting. And in the 16th century, for example, this Montaigne described how he was entrusted to a guardian who explained to a situation of his Latin learning at his 1 year. Montaigne described a story of his life and the parents, the way a teacher used or pushed their learners to learn first language or the second language in case of GTM. And observing that quite similar incident happened to Montaigne's life, and his father wanted him to speak Latin well. At that time, parents also initiated that yes, you have to learn the target language. No way, whatever may be the position of your mind, whatever may be the position of your brain, it doesn't matter, you have to. That means parents and teacher also pushed the learners to learn the target language. And in some cases that was very tedious, and that was also very tiresome. That was also very frustrating for the learners. So Montaigne described his history of Latin language learning that is full of frustration, and that pressure not only came from the teacher, that pressure also came from his parents. In addition, another American linguist, Lambert Sauvé, who has 63 works and 236 publications in language. Many writings are there. Okay, Lambert Sauvé opened a language school in Boston. So Montaigne and previously Gouin, they initiated the idea, and keeping the idea, Sauvé started a school in Boston, USA, and his method soon referred to the natural method that we are using or learning. Okay, this man is Sauvé. Sauvé and others believed that natural method argued a foreign language could be taught without translation. Their belief. Okay, we shouldn't translate, so we could learn and we could teach language, target language without translation. According to them, meaning of the target language should be conveyed directly, not target language to mother language and mother language to target. Directly means, suppose you are going to learn French language, so all meaning of the words, every of the sentence should be conveyed towards the target language. So French words meaning will be conveyed in French, English words meaning will be conveyed in English, so that the meaning will be clear and the students will be able to learn the language. Direct through demonstration and action. Demonstration and action. Demonstration, that means presentation and action. And that is Subhe. And that was going on, and Subhe said that a foreign language could be taught without translation, with or the use of learner's native tongue if meaning was conveyed directly through the demonstration and action. Okay, so this is, and we have got another scholar in this regard. His name is Frank, and this German scholar Frank, because direct method initiated journey from German and French scholar. So this German scholar, he said that he mentioned some principles of direct method. What are the principles? So you have got the history. That means it initiated in Germany and France. It has several names: phonetical method, anti-grammatical method. So next time this Frank, he has initiated some principles, and next time one other man started his school following the natural method, but this man initiated some principles of direct method. He said that psychological principle of direct association between form and meaning in the target language, and provided a theoretical justification for the monolingual approach. Monolingual means target language will be learned through the target language. Mono means single, one. That is direct. And language could be best be taught by using it actively in the classroom. In case of grammar translation method, এই মেথডের কথা বলতে গেলে গ্রামার ট্রান্সলেশনের কথা আসবেই, কারণ অবহিত পড়েই। So actively, students and teachers all will be active through interaction, through discussion, through conversation, through question answering, actively participation, rather than using analytical procedures. So we have analysis: what is noun, what is pronoun, how pronoun can be used in a sentence, how noun can be used, what are the classification of noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb. So that would be the analytical presentation of grammar. So direct method didn't go for the analytical aspects of language. Direct method tried to put language directly, actively in the classroom. That is the. And teacher must encourage direct and spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Spontaneous overflow or instantaneous overflow of uses of language in the target language. Okay. All will be jolly, all will be active, and all will be spontaneous using the target language. If it is so, that would be the path of their behavior, and one day they will learn language. Language learning could then be able to induce less rules of grammar. You know, even we can communicate language. Okay, but if you ask me maybe rules of Bangla language, I can answer. যে নক্ত বিহান, অক্ত বিহান, এরকম অনেক কিছু যারা বাংলাতে অনার্স করে বা স্টাডি করে তারাই কিন্তু জানে। তো তার মানে কি দাঁড়ালো? তার মানে আমি বাংলা ভাষা জানলেও বাংলার অনেক নিয়ম আমি জানি। That is the principle of this. Whenever they will be spontaneous, it is not necessary to know the basic things of grammar of the target language. And so they initiated. That method. Okay. And language should the language learning teacher replaced the textbook in the early stage of learning. Textbook will kept aside. Okay, and teacher will go free, keeping a text as a model. Then teacher will initiate so many text or reading materials from outside the syllabus and the textbook. Speaking began with systematic attention to pronunciation. It is called phonetical method. Phonetics is the study of sound of a language, the way you will be wording, you will be pronouncing the words. So this method also initiates the pronunciation, exact pronunciation. That means the IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. Why that is applicable? It is applicable to understand the sound of a language, the way you will be pronouncing a specific word. Then if it is pronounced correctly, the meaning and the word can be understood the person you are speaking to. আপনি যাকে বলছেন সেই ওয়ার্ডটা, আপনি যদি বলেন প্রসিডিউর, আপনি ঠিকই আছেন, কিন্তু যাকে আপনি বলছেন উনি যদি ফরেন স্পিকার হয়, কারণ প্রসিডিউর বলে কোনো ওয়ার্ডই হচ্ছে ইংরেজিতে নাই। তো এরকম আবার যদি আপনি বলেন যে এরকম অনেক আমরা বলি SON প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশন সং অনেকে বলি কিন্তু আসলে প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশন হলো সান সো দ্য ওয়ে অ্যান্ড ফর দিস রিজন ডিরেক্ট মেথড ইনিশিয়েট দ্য প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশন কারেক্ট প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশন speaking known words could be used to teach new vocabulary and use mime you know mukhabhinoy demonstration and pictures as well you can also understand যদি আপনারা যে ভোকাবুলারি যদি একটা ওয়ার্ড শেখেন এবং ওয়ার্ডের সাথে যদি ছবিটাকে অ্যাকোমোডেট করা যায় হ্যাঁ একটা অ্যাংরি যদি ওয়ার্ডটা শেখেন এবং সে সাথে যদি তার সাথে যদি একজন অ্যাংরি মানুষের ছবি দেখানো হয় তাহলে ওই ওয়ার্ডটা আপনার মাথায় গেঁথে যায় এটাকে বলা হয় নিউমোনিক্স দ্যাট মিনস অ্যাসোসিয়েশন অফ ওয়ার্ডস উইথ দ্য ভিজুয়াল ইমেজ ওকে অ্যান্ড ইভেন সেভারাল পার্টস অফ দ্য ফ্যামিলি ইন কেস অফ মেনি বুকস কিডস বুক আপনারা দেখবেন সেখানে ফ্যামিলির ছবি দেওয়া আছে সেখানে ফ্যামিলির একটা ছবি দিয়ে বয়স্ককে গ্র্যান্ডফাদার কাজিন যে আসলে চাচাতো মামাতো ভাই হয় পাশাপাশি যে বোনও হয় এই সবগুলো জিনিসই ওখানে ইন্ডিকেট করে দেওয়া আছে দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড দ্য অ্যাসোসিয়েশন অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ডস উইথ image okay so such kind of teaching will be used in case of grammar and direct method this natural language learning principles provided the foundation for what came to be known as direct method which refers to the most widely known as the natural method so this method is known anti-grammatical method phonetical method natural method okay and also reform method that also puts importance in English language or oral communication and also give emphasis on pronunciation. Enthusiastic supporters of direct method, the method introduced in France and Germany. Direct method became widely known in the USA through the Sauvé and the Maximilian Barlis in successful commercial language school. But Barlis in fact used the term he referred to the method used in his scholars as the Barlis method. Barlis in UK and Maximilian, they also initiated that method, natural method in USA, but they didn't call it direct method. They called it Barlis method. But the principles, the way they used it, that is the so that is Maximilian Barlis. He also initiated this term. Okay, and there are some principle and procedures of direct method okay if you get now you can get out the mobile phone and you can go to the slide then okay practice if you are connected with online the practice direct method stood for the following principle and procedures classroom instruction was conducted exclusively in the target language GTM teacher and the learner can use mother language but in case of direct method exclusively teacher will conduct the class in the target language only everyday vocabulary and sentences are taught everyday vocabulary that means from early in the morning what did you do আপনি সকালে উঠে কি করেছেন নাস্তা তৈরি করেছেন বাজারে গিয়েছেন হয়তো কিছু কিনতে ঠিক আছে আবার নাস্তা করেছেন তারপরে হয়তো আপনি ড্রাইভারকে রেডি হতে বলছেন যদি আপনি নিজের গাড়িতে আসেন যদি আপনি পাবলিক ভেহিকলে আসেন তাহলে ভাড়া মিটিয়েছেন টাকা দিয়েছেন এগুলো যে ডেইলি অ্যাক্টিভিটিস such kind of vocabulary only everyday vocabulary and sentences were used are taught oral communication skill were built up in a careful graded progression carefully graded progression why that means there are several kinds of sentences simple sentence complex sentence and compound sentence so not initially that he will be starting from the complex sentence okay starting from the simple sentence easy expression everyday sentences will be used and exchange question and answer exchange between teachers students in small and intensive classes small and intensive in case of direct method that is also a positive side that the class should be যদি একটা ক্লাসে 100 জন হয় আপনি ইন্ট্রোডাকশন করবেন কিভাবে 100 জনকে একটা প্রশ্ন করলেই তো 100 মিনিট লাগবে আমাদের ক্লাস সাইজ হলো 50 মিনিট 50 ক্লাস টাইম অধিকাংশ জায়গায় 50 মিনিট এজন্য in case of direct method class will be exclusively small group and maximum বলা আছে যে 25 or 20 students so that and 20 students or 25 students will be divided in 4 or 5 groups and they will be discussing each other and also with the teachers. Intensive. Grammar was taught inductively, implicitly in underlying, not directly, just like the grammar translation. But the new teaching points were introduced orally. Whenever the teacher will try to introduce a new one. Today we are going to introduce a new topic of our language learning journey, that is simple sentence, orally, not written. Concrete vocabulary was taught through demonstration, object and pictures. That I have said, that is called visualization. Through the pictures, images, the teacher will teach vocabulary. Abstract vocabulary was taught by association of ideas. Both speech and listening. Number 7. Have you got it? Yeah? Yeah. Number 7. Both speech and listening comprehension was taught. Listening, speech and listening. So that means the teacher will play a audio. Okay? Then they will listen, and then audio will stop. Then student will be asked, what you have listened, write down. Teacher will also tell a story, and then try and will ask the student, write the what you have understood. So speech and listening comprehension. Correct pronunciation and grammar were emphasized. Pronunciation and grammar, but implicitly, not directly. Grammar is okay. So these are the principles: never translate, demonstrate, never explain, act, never make a speech, ask question. In case of presentation, বলা হয়ে থাকে ওই যদিও আমরা তাড়াতাড়ি করছি না, একটা গল্প বলতাম। আলবার্ট আইনস্টাইন তার ড্রাইভার বলতো যে আপনি যে বক্তব্যগুলো দেন আমার সব মুখস্থ। হ্যাঁ, তো বললো যে কিভাবে, তো বলছে ঠিক আছে নেক্সট সেমিনারে তুমি তাহলে বক্তব্য দিবা। হ্যাঁ, তো ড্রাইভার সমস্ত মুখস্থ করেছে, তার বক্তব্য শেষ, এখন প্রশ্ন উত্তরের পালা। একজন বড় প্রশ্ন করে ফেলছে, কঠিন। তো বলছে ইট ইস এ ইজি কোশ্চেন, মাই ড্রাইভার ক্যান আনসার দ্য কোশ্চেন। ড্রাইভারের জায়গায় কে বসে আছে? হ্যাঁ, এই জন্য আবার টেকনিক্যাল, এটা আবার প্রেজেন্টেশনের ক্ষেত্রে এটা একটা টেকনিক হয়। আপনি একটা প্রেজেন্টেশন দিতে গিয়েছেন, ঠিক আছে, এমন একটা প্রশ্ন আপনাকে করে ফেলছে, ওই সময় আপনার প্রশ্নটার উত্তর নেই, ঠিক আছে। এটার স্মার্টের উত্তর হলো যে আপনাকে প্রশ্নটা করেছে কিছু না কিছু জানে ওই প্রশ্নটা, তখন এটা রিভার্স করে দেওয়া, হোয়াট ডু ইউ থিঙ্ক। তারপরে যে প্রশ্ন করলো তাকেই আপনি হ্যাঁ সেরকম। এই জন্য এটা বলছে যে ইন কেস অফ ডিরেক্ট মেথড আস্ক কোয়েশ্চেন। হ্যাঁ, কারেক্ট, নেভার ইনিশিয়েট মিস্টেক, কারেক্ট, নেভার স্পিক উইথ সিঙ্গেল ওয়ার্ড, ইউজ সেন্টেন্সেস, নেভার স্পিক টু মাচ, মেক স্টুডেন্ট স্পিক মাচ। Never speak too much. Never jump around, follow a plan. Jump around, এক সময় এই টপিক আরেক সময় এই টপিক, এরকম না, একটা ফলো প্ল্যান এবং সে প্ল্যান অনুযায়ী আগানো। ওকে, স্পিক নর্মালি, স্পিক ন্যাচারালি, টেক ইট ইজি। দ্যাট ইজ দ্য প্রসেস অফ টিচিং থ্রু direct method. Direct method was quite successful in private language school because pronunciation should be there, active participation will be there. In case of public schools, class size is more than 50. So how it is possible to involve every learner in active participation? Okay, and for this reason this direct method became successful for the private school, and where native speaking teachers are available. Yeah, that is also a positive side and also challenges. কোথায় পাবেন native speakers? In many countries at present, like Middle East, Saudi Arabia, they hire native speakers teacher to teach English to their students. Okay, but in case of our country it is not possible. Every student will hire, but still you can get some benefits of some English medium school. There you have to pay much tuition fee. Okay, so where native speaking teachers are available and native speakers teacher will involve in teaching, where in private schools. and it was not welcomed by public secondary school because it overemphasized and distorted the similarities between naturalistic first language learning and classroom foreign language learning, as well as it failed to consider the practical realities of the classroom. Okay, so naturally children can learn. This drawing, Frank and Montaigne, they wanted to initiate such children's atmosphere in the classroom. ছোট বাচ্চারা খেলতে খেলতে যে কথা বলে, ধাক্কাধাক্কি করতে কথা বলে, 2 ওয়ার্ড 3 ওয়ার্ড টেলিগ্রাফিক স্টেজ, এই স্টেজগুলো যেগুলো বলে, ওইগুলোকে ইনারা কোথায় আনতে চাচ্ছেন? ক্লাসরুমে আনতে চাচ্ছেন। এই জন্য এটার নাম কি? ন্যাচারাল লার্নিং। বাট এই জন্য অনেক সময় এটা সম্ভব হয় না। Okay, and also practical realities of the class. What are the practical realities? As I have said earlier, class size in case of Bangladesh, in our regular batches, 80 students per class, and 80 students, 5-10 জন অনুপস্থিত থাকে, 70 students class opposite. So if you apply that method, and in maximum public schools, the scenario is same. So direct method didn't consider the practical realities of the classroom in all parts of this world. Okay? The method will be applicable in all parts. It lacked a rigorous basis of applied linguistics theory. Apply. No memorization. Nothing is there. Vocabulary will be taught observing the news, pictures, image, video clip, like that. For the reason mentioned above, direct method was criticized by language experts to reform movements. Okay, and it has some drawbacks. It requires native speakers, teachers, or teachers who have native-like fluency. Okay, it was largely dependent on the teacher's skill rather than on the textbook. All teachers might not be proficient enough, so this is a challenge. And also, strict application of the direct method becomes counterproductive. What is that? Means কি বলে যে দড়িকে বেশি কি করতে হলে লেবুকে নাকি বেশি কচলাইলে কি হয়ে যায়, সেরকম এটা হলে কাউন্টার প্রোডাক্টিভ। দেখা গেলে বেশি কথা বলতে চেষ্টা করার সময় বসে থাকে। দেখা গেল যে মোবাইল এখন বাচ্চাদেরকে দিতে দিতে এরকম অবস্থা হয়ে গেছে, তখন মোবাইল কেড়ে নেওয়া হলো, তখন দেখা যাচ্ছে বাচ্চা খাচ্ছেও না, পড়ালেখাও করছে না, কথাও বলছে না, এইরকম একটা আর কি। সো ডিরেক্ট মেথড বিকামস কাউন্টার প্রোডাক্টিভ ইফ উই পুট প্রেশার অন মাচ ডিরেক্ট conversation or active participation in the class. Since teachers were required to describe avoiding native language, sometimes simple a brief explanation in the students' native language would have been a more complex to comprehend. Ekta Bangla word bola jabe na. What is the difference between cockroach and flies? Cockroach-এরও ডানা আছে, মাছিরও ডানা আছে। এখন টিচার কোনো বাংলা না বলে মাছির কয়টা পা আছে জানি না, 6টা নাকি? যদি তাই হয়ে থাকে তাহলে আরো ডিফিকাল্ট। ককরোচেরও 6টা পা, মাছিরও 6টা। এখন টিচার একটা পজিশনে যে কোনোভাবেই এই দুটো জিনিসের কি করা যাবে না, বাংলা ওয়ার্ড ব্যবহার করা যাবে না। তাহলে এই দুটো জিনিসের পার্থক্য তাকে বোঝাতে হবে। তাহলে এই ককরোচ এবং ফ্লাইস, এই দুটোর পার্থক্য বোঝাতে গিয়ে এত বেশি ইংরেজি ব্যবহার করতে হবে, সেটা যদি শুধু আমরা বলে দিই যে তেলাপোকা আর মাছি, তাহলেই সিংহে বুঝে গেল। So for this reason, direct method becomes counterproductive. Harvard psychological, that is the direct methods, approaches and rules and regulations. So it has some advantages to focus on oral practice, teaching vocabulary, words, idioms. Method is good. There is direct relation between thought and expression. It helps the learners in having good fluency. In this method, teachers proceeds from particular to general and from concrete to abstract. Some demerits will be there. Ignores systematic written work and reading activities. This method may not hold well in higher level classes. Okay, direct method can applicable for secondary and primary school level. Higher classes it cannot be applicable. Supports only limited vocabulary. That means everyday's vocabulary will be used. So that is very limited. Every day. Okay, so every day, suppose we do some daily activities, but in case of international communication, we have to have versified communication context.
অনেক বিষয়ে আমাদেরকে কমিউনিকেশন করতে হয়। তাহলে ডিরেক্ট মেথডকে যদি আমরা অ্যাপ্লাই করি তাহলে এই ডাইভার্সিফাইড কমিউনিকেশন যে ক্রাইটেরিয়া সেটা শেখানো যায় না। ওকে, সো দিস আর সাম ক্রিটিসিজম। ওকে, this is however not only the criticism of the direct method, perhaps the biggest was the strict adherence to the policy of the using the target language. Okay, that can be the severest criticism. That means কোনোভাবেই আপনি বাংলা ভাষা বলতে পারবেন না বা টার্গেট মাদার ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ক্লাসরুমে ইউজ করতে পারবেন না, এটা হলো একটা সবচেয়ে বড় চ্যালেঞ্জ। হ্যাঁ, যে হাত পা বেঁধে দিয়েছে আপনাকে যাই বলেন, কান্নার শব্দ তো একই, কাঁদতেও হবে কি টার্গেট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ। Okay, so that is the way the direct method initiated. So we have gone through the history and we have gone through the principles. In brief, we can say that direct method is the anti-grammatical method, natural method, and also reform method. Okay, and phonetical method. It gives emphasis on correct pronunciation, and for this reason native speakers teachers are needed, and for this reason many public schools can't afford to hire native speakers teachers, and also for the strict adherence to the natural method always that cannot be applied in the classroom. The children's learning atmosphere cannot be created in the classroom, especially the scenario of many underdeveloped or developing countries. Their class size is very big. So keeping with all these challenges, direct method is a reaction against grammatical method, and we have got a new method that is called direct method. And direct method gives emphasis on speaking and listening, as GTM gave emphasis on reading and writing. So we can say that direct method also disregard the importance of reading and writing. Yeah. So GTM disregard. GTM যেমন রিডিং রাইটিং এ গুরুত্ব দেয় নাই, এই লিসনিং স্পিকিং এ গুরুত্ব দেয় নাই, ডিরেক্ট মেথড সেরকম কি রিডিং অ্যান্ড রাইটিং এ গুরুত্ব দিচ্ছে। ওকে, দিস ইজ হোয়াট উই হ্যাভ অবজার্ভড ইন দিস মেথড, ডিরেক্ট মেথডস। ওকে, and